photographs. They can capture moments of joy, love, and happiness. But sometimes, behind these images lie dark and chilling stories that make your blood run cold. Today, we will delve into the world of real, creepy photographs, each holding its own terrifying secret. Get ready to uncover stories you will never forget. Are you ready? Then, let's begin. Jaws of the Cape Shark. Russian fisherman Roman Fedortsov has caught many amazing marine life over the years, but none of them were as scary as the Cape Shark. Due to the presence of primitive features, it is called a living fossil, but its jaws, depicted in the photo, cause genuine horror and disgust. Duen de Boulogne. Experiments between 1854 and 1856. French neurologist Guillaume Benjamin Amand Duen de Boulogne conducted a series of electrophysiological experiments to evaluate how facial muscles form different expressions. For his research, he used inhumane methods. He tied up unhappy patients and used electric shocks on them to get the necessary data. Vintage Halloween costume. This vintage Halloween costume was discovered on a farm in Camp Dix, New Jersey, USA, in 1917. Undoubtedly, he causes some kind of primordial fear and definitely looks more terrible than a ghost from a sheet. The cell where the Salem witches were kept. This makeshift prison cell is indeed a symbol of the horrors that befell the Salem witches. It was in such cells that the accused women spent their last moments before execution. Between 1692 and 1693, more than 200 people were accused of witchcraft, with 19 of those found guilty being sentenced to death. Traders selling human meat. This photo shows a married couple living in Samara province. During the famine in the winter of 1921, they were forced to sell human remains on the market. At that time, the country was gripped by a terrible famine, which killed 5 million people. In such conditions, people were willing to do anything for the sake of survival. The Skunk Monkey. The Skunk Monkey is a mythical creature believed to live in the southern United States. It was reported from various places, from North Carolina to Arkansas, but most often from the state of Florida. The Skunk Monkey was first spotted in 1942, and the most convincing proof of its existence is this photo, which was anonymously sent to the Sarasota County Sheriff's Department on December 29th, 2000. The author of the picture claimed that the monkey-like creature screamed for 3 nights in a row, had a terrible smell, and then ran away. The last portrait of the Lawson family. This photo looks like an ordinary family portrait, and everything would have been fine if it hadn't been for the fact that this picture was taken just a few days before the father of the family, Patriarch Charlie Lawson, second from right, killed all his relatives depicted in the photo on Christmas Day, 1929. Only 16-year-old Arthur Left managed to escape. The mouth of a leatherback turtle. This photo of the mouth of a leatherback turtle slightly resembles the mouth of an alien from a famous horror movie. However, unlike him, The picture is quite real. This is exactly what the mouth of the largest turtle of its kind looks like, which, instead of teeth, has dozens of papillae lining the mouth, esophagus, and intestines of the animal. The Mad Bomber by George Metesky. Between 1940 and 1956, George Metesky, nicknamed the Mad Bomber, terrorized the whole of New York by planting bombs in public places. He is responsible for more than 30 explosions that injured 15 people. At the same time, Metesky did not just plant bombs. He wrote mocking letters to local newspapers until 1957, when he was arrested and placed in a psychiatric hospital. Gloves made of human skin. The murders of American serial killer Ed Gein in the mid-1950s were so horrific that they formed the basis for such horror films as the Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Psycho. A man from Plainfield, Wisconsin, robbed graves, killed innocent women, and made furniture and clothes from their body parts. Moreover, they found out about this only after his arrest in 1957, when the police searched his house and found mutilated bodies, bowls made of skulls, a lampshade made of a human face, and gloves made of human skin. The last moments of a man who jumped into a tiger enclosure. In September 2014, visitors to the National Zoo in Delhi, India, watched in horror as a tiger killed a 20-year-old visitor. The unnamed young man, who reportedly suffered from mental illness, jumped over the fences around the enclosure and found himself right in front of a ferocious white tiger. For the next 15 minutes, the animal brutally tortured the man, while onlookers crowded around and tried to drive the tiger away with stones. It didn't help, and until the victim died, the screams echoed throughout the zoo. The latest photo of a Papua New Guinea explorer. This photo shows Michael Rockefeller, who was the son of New York Governor Nelson Rockefeller, who later became Vice President of the United States. In principle, Michael had everything, but his soul required adventures, and the young man went on an expedition to Papua New Guinea in the early 1960s. But the locals turned out to be not very friendly. Representatives of the Papuan Asmat people are famous cannibals. So after a fun ritual, they beheaded and ate the unfortunate Michael Rockefeller. The shadow of a man imprinted after the explosion in Hiroshima. On August 6, 1945, the United States dropped the atomic bomb Kid on the Japanese city of Hiroshima. After this terrible event, literally nothing remained of many of the 80,000 victims except nuclear shadows. The explosion heated the air to a temperature of 5,000 degrees Celsius, which simply incinerated people and completely discolored the surfaces around. As a result, silhouettes of dead people remained on the surviving walls and ground. These were shadows cast by their bodies at the last moment. The last photo of the Dyatlovites. In January 1959, a group of young tourists went on a ski trip to the northern Urals in the vicinity of Mount Kolachakal in the north of the Sverdlovsk region. As you know, this sortie turned into a mysterious tragedy. The search group set off along the route when the tourists did not come to the end point at the right time and found the members of Dyatlov's group dead. Moreover, The bodies were in a strange position at a distance from each other and had very serious injuries. It is still a mystery what happened to the students. This is one of the last photos taken by tourists before the incident. Keith Sapsford's fall from the plane. On February 22nd, 1970, 14-year-old Keith Sapsford escaped from boarding school in Sydney, Australia, and climbed onto the wheel of an airplane to have fun or fly away. However, the young man did not think that airplanes were gaining altitude from 9 to 11 kilometers, and that at such altitudes, lack of oxygen could lead to serious brain damage. But the reality turned out to be much more cruel. Keith also did not think that the plane would not fly the entire flight with the landing gear released. As a result, the guy just couldn't resist. His fatal fall was accidentally captured by photographer John Gilpin, who was photographing planes that day. Please like and subscribe to the channel if you like the video. If you want another such format, then write in the comments.